Lithium. Sorry.
I've also read in various transcripts that you began drinking at the age of 9.
Correct.
All inmates are to return to their unit or facility
To
recount.
make a correction about my medication, I did miss one of them. It's a night med. It's known as Seroquel. I just don't know.
In the age of 45, did you ever take any lithium during that period?
No.
So when you stopped taking it as a child, you said somewhere around the age of 21. You've not taken any lithium until you were incarcerated here.
Yes.
Did you take any other lithium equivalents?
No.
Anything that was a substitute for lithium?
I self-medicated, yes. Didn't matter. Nothing else mattered in life. It was only getting high and the act of getting high. That's the only thing that mattered. No, it's the only way to explain it. And just like you would...
First took heroin at age 12. You injected it?
Yep. Yes.
And for how long did you continue to inject heroin from the age of 12 onward?
On and off for about 30 years.
How many times did you estimate you've injected heroin intravenously?
I don't know.
More than 100?
Yeah.
So you did it for 30 years. Would you say it was more than 500 times?
Yeah.
How often were you doing it at the height of your heroin addiction?
At the height,
How many times per day?
at least on a slow day, about 12 times.
Pardon me?
12 times on a slow day.
12 different needles on a slow day. What's a fast day?
Fast day, about 20, 25. As time progressed, got into real work and stuff like that, again, I remained functional until I couldn't anymore.
And when you could not remain functional, how did you support your heroin habit?
I would steal, cheat, rob from anything and anybody.
Just mark that, please. Tell me about some of the houses that you burglarized.
Probably, definitely, was it middle income, I would call it?
Would you do it at the day or the night?
Nighttime. Non-occupied,
How would you know they were non-occupied?
because I would stake them out.
What would you steal in these homes?
Variety of things, whatever I can know that I could get rid of quickly. Jewelry, money, mostly is what I was after, is money. But take jewelry, silverware if necessary. Their silver sets, their china sets. Things that could easily be sold off, traded away.
Did you take these directly to your drug supplier, or did you
Sometimes.
fence them through?
Sometimes through my dealer, and other times would be through other people. Never through a pawn shop. That's just a good way to get put in jail.
I didn't know. So you would have jewelry, various other items, and you would trade them directly to your drug dealer, or you would give them to who?
Fence them off to different people. A variety of different other, either addicts or dealers themselves, or just certain people that would want to buy stuff.
Between the ages of 18 and 35 in the state of New Hampshire, how many felony, burglary, robberies, thefts would you estimate that you committed?
Object to the form. You can answer.
That committed? I don't know. Never really kept count.
More than 100?
Possibly.
More than 500? $60?
No. Bundle.
Excuse me. bundle.
which is about 8 to 10 bags.
So how much heroin, bundles, bags, dollars, were you going through a day in your heavy use periods?
2.5 bundles. Because we had just moved and I hadn't found anybody, but I was using and stealing opiates from her.
Well, while we're on it, what drugs were you using during that 10-year period?
There were periods of time where, what is it? Freaking Klonopin, which is a benzo. Thank you. So benzo, and alcohol. Ritalin. Was prescribed buprenorphine, or otherwise known as Suboxone, and was prescribed methadone.
And how much alcohol would you consume and what type when you were drinking 3 times a month?
Most of the time it was just regular beer.
How much beer would you consume in one?
Between 12 and 18 pack. 12 and 18 pack.
You would drink an entire 12 to 18 beers in one sitting?
Yeah.
Did you ever have a conversation with any of the doctors that you recall about mixing alcohol with these drugs?
That's a part of the whole program, yeah.
What do you mean?
You are highly told not to do so.
What does highly told mean?
It could be detrimental to your health. Yeah, clinicians, about 8 of them.
All right, potential heart attack. What else?
That's really all they harped on. They didn't really get into much of anything else about it.
So you obviously did not take their advice. How did the alcohol on top of bupe and methadone make you feel?
Intensified everything. Intensified the drunkenness, blurred vision, lack of concentration. Just basically intensified it all. I said, spin yourself around about 15 billion times in about 5 seconds. That's about the only way to explain it.
Mixing methadone and alcohol, was there anything other than dizziness, unawareness, inhibitions out the window, and euphoria that the two caused in you?
No, that's about it.
How would you...
Well, that's part of it. They're also checking to see if there's any shakes or tremors that happen in your hands or your feet or in your legs. They're also looking for skin coloration change.
Anything else?
Those are just the top ones off the top of my head that I
Your
can remember.
eyes.
They do look at your eyes for pupil dilation and your ability to be able to focus on objects as they move.
All right, so the doctors are looking at physical symptoms, including blood pressure, pulse, extremity stability, shakes, tremors, skin coloration changes, eyes, pupil dilation. Anything else? What other physical things are they looking for?
There's like literally 3 pages of it. I don't know all of them. Those are just the ones that pop up in my head.
So you're equating the high/buzz feeling kicking in as to the same feeling as you get when you take opiates?
It's getting to that point, yeah.
Methadone equals the same high as opiates.
As high
Hang on. I didn't know if you were finished with your question. Object to the form. You can answer.
And then just be more descriptive if you're out running, playing frisbee, whatever, you feel like you could fall down.
I have to pay attention to it because peripheral vision is drastically reduced.
Your stability's off.
Stability's off, so you are feeling a little dizzy. A bit dizzy.
All right, when you say groggy, not full alertness, what would you liken that to? What other drugs make you feel that way?
Smoking half a joint.
Have you ever heard of anyone getting more than 105 milligrams?
I had heard some stories, but stories.
How high was the milligram dosage that you heard in the stories?
130 milligrams, which, that's going to knock down a horse. That even would knock me out.
Charles, you now had an opportunity to speak with your lawyer. So the question remains the same. Did you choke her?
As I understand the term of the word, no, I strangled her.
Could you read back the question, please?
You have to answer. Was Ms. Brusso involved in illicit drug usage as well?
She was on the Suboxone program at the time.
I'll ask one more time. Was Ms. Brusso involved in illicit drug use at the time of this incident?
No.
Had she been a heroin user?
In her past, yes.
Did she overdose at one point shortly after being released from prison?
Yes.
July 26, 2014, incident number 2. You are being charged at this point with shoplifting a 30-pack of Budweiser from the Price Chopper store. Do you remember that arrest?
Yes.
Why is it that you were shoplifting 30 beers?
Because I wanted them.
Say, could it have happened perhaps? What do you mean by that?
I was a drug fiend at the time, man.
Pardon me?
I was a drug fiend at the time.
Drug what?
Drug fiend.
So the Grand Canyon. What do you mean by that?
Well, it's twofold. They're both physical and mental.
The physical. Where are your scars?
Waist down.
Another question. You can answer.
Yes. How much slower if it's raining?
Object to the form. You can answer.
Down through here at the night, 25 miles an hour. It's fast enough.
How about if it's a light mist? Beginning to rain, had been raining. Would you still take it down to 25 miles an hour?
Same objection. Go ahead.
As long as I've been a driver, these roads up through here are covered with oil from different trucks, cars, and what have you. The lighter the rain, the more slippery they are. And if you don't think these roads are slippery at night when there's rain on them, they are. And there's been many accidents right up here in the corner in the last couple of weeks for the same reason. Same reason.
All right, could you mark that, please? And sir,
So I would have taken the wheel if he'd been over 25. If he'd have been at 25 and up to 30, I would have been driving.
All together again.
Yeah.
And Yaya said, we're going to leave Florida, we're going to go see Emily.
At least you missed the cold weather.
That's what I understand.
We didn't leave the hospital for 3 days. It was ridiculous.
Oh.
Wind chill was 29 below, and there was mist. I'll show you a picture. I took a picture of the
So we
river.
got on the
It was so cold, the mist
airplane.
was rising up from the river.
In Florida yesterday morning and got here last night, got in the car, and drove here helter-skelter, but always safely, and we came to see you.
Did you check into the motel yet?
No,
No.
no. It's about 4 exits before you get here.
4 exits in Boston can be 50 minutes. I gotta